that my faith, it's not bigger than God, and I have to just say that my faith is that I remember saying to my minister when I went to a new church here in Easton, I said, I live in this big, beautiful home, and I have one child, and one daughter, and she's going to college in a few years. What am I going to do with this big space? And he goes, God's going to fill it up with wonderful things. And he did. He filled it up with School on Wheels and backpacks and school supplies, but it's truly amazing how on a daily basis that we are being blessed. I mean, I needed 50 dictionaries, and all of a sudden I get a call from the dictionary project. Somebody told them about School on Wheels. I don't know how, but the next thing I know, within a week I have 100 dictionaries and being delivered. There's like Lamar, he went to Newberry College, and we went down to the financial aid office. There was $14,000 gap between what his aid would be and his loans. There was no way School on Wheels could pay $14,000. He was our first really student that we were supporting from freshman on. And I met with somebody that week. He had made cheesecakes for a track banquet. He had given me one of the cheesecakes, Reese's Peanut Butter Cup, best cheesecake you've ever had. I took it out at this meeting that I had. They said, where did you get this cheesecake? I told the story about Lamar. She came back and says to my husband and I want to make a $5,000 donation to Lamar's education from freshman year to his senior year. It's remarkable to me how when people know what the need is, that they come through. People have big hearts, but people are busy, and you need to give them specific things that they can do. And then they're happy to do it. And what I found also works really well with School on Wheels is to engage families. And we can have kids ages 5, and up come in and stuff backpacks. Parents love the fact that their kids are learning about homelessness, and that they're learning how lucky they are, and that how they, my neighbor was 3 years old. He would come over and sharpen 100 pencils till the pencil sharpener burned out. He'd knock on my door and say, can I help School on Wheels today? And he was our youngest volunteer to receive the Volunteer of the Year award. But he, for a school project, he wrote a paper about how he wanted to raise money for School on Wheels because every child deserved to have a new backpack like he did. So it's really cool to see people getting excited about this work. And like you guys, that you're here, that you're taking your time on a Saturday afternoon to do this, that it obviously has touched your heart in some way as well.
It's just amazing what you do.
You guys are amazing too, because this is what it's all about. We're going to expect you to carry it on and to take care of your community wherever you're at,
Yeah, because we see it. Like, I saw a program, it was on 60 Minutes the other night. My mom was like crying because she saw the program about, like, she was like, wow, I didn't know people lived in cars. Like,
and there's people that live in cars here
she said,
in our state.
That this was in my community. Like, are there things being done to help? And I'm like, yeah. Like, I'm going to an interview on Saturday about it.
Yeah.
And it was just really incredible that there's so much going on. People have such big hearts, and like are trying to help.
Right. So you guys are giving a voice to that, which is really great.
Yeah. Looking back on your engagement, what principles would you say were you fighting for? Like, what did you really want to accomplish with this program?
Is that everybody understands that as committed citizens, it's up to all of us to make sure that every child has the right to a quality education and has the resources that they need, and that it's really it's our civic duty to make sure that people are engaged in this. And there's also, whether you're engaged with providing educational services for homeless children, or you're engaged to make sure that there's no hunger in your community. I mean, there's lots of issues that people can get involved with and stuff. But, the thing for me is that all of us can do something. You're watching homeless families who are coming back and stuffing backpacks and putting and donating backpacks, and a student who experienced 6 moves in 1 year doing a school supply drive and recruiting volunteers at her local library. Is that everybody has the ability to do something, and they need to do it. No excuses.
So would there be any specific advice that you would give to people regarding civic engagement?
Is to find something that really tugs at your heart and get involved. And, and there's lots of kids in our community that are not homeless that need caring adults in their life, or to do peer counseling. I mean, peer tutoring. Um, it doesn't have to be just kids that are impacted by homelessness. There's a lot of need in our community. And so what I would just say is to find something and to make a commitment, and also to make sure that you engage your friends and your parents and your other siblings to be a part of it as well.
And I was just thinking, kind of going off topic, but is there any way that the McKinney-Vento law helped your program? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. Because first of all, the schools, even though each school district has a homeless liaison, so we work with the homeless liaison. So when our students move from a motel into a shelter, we make sure that we work with the homeless liaison to make sure that the transportation is set up as soon as possible for that student, and that the records get transferred. And also the McKinney-Vento also provides funding for cards for like Walmart, because kids that need, are unaccompanied youth, they need food, they need toiletries, we're doing a warm clothing drive right now as part of a coalition that we're part of. And so the McKinney-Vento is really important to work with the homeless liaisons in our community that make sure that the McKinney-Vento laws are being carried out effectively. And we work with the head of the state who's in charge of the McKinney-Vento. In fact, she comes to our coalition meetings for unaccompanied youth. And they also work with us to provide services. For example, when we were tutoring in the hotels, the funding from McKinney-Vento paid for the rooms for the hotels and paid for the snack for the kids so that we could go into the hotels to tutor.
And where do you see this program in the future?
Good question. We're working on a new strategic plan, and I think that as far as School on Wheels of Massachusetts, that what we have decided kind of as a board, as a staff and community, is that we want to continue to provide deep services for our students for as long as they need our support and want our support. So we are going to continue to provide these deep wraparound services for long periods of time. And so therefore that means at this point we need to continue to raise the funds to do that. So, my degree's in early childhood and family life. I was a kindergarten teacher, and my passion is being in the classroom. I still tutor because I need that in my life and need that to be, I think, the best executive director I can be. But I really feel that, I need to put on my development hat and to go out there and to really raise more dollars within the community. Especially, we've been really lucky to get great grant funding from all kinds of different foundations, but we really need to get the businesses involved. So we just recently started a Companies Caring for Kids program a couple years ago, and W.B. Mason it gives us school supplies for 1,000 backpacks. They're one of our anchor companies, as well as Sun Life Financial, who helps sponsor the funding for our High School Plus program. And we have Eastern Bank, who also supports us, in Harbor One, and Procter & Gamble, Gillette. So again, it's a matter of having the time to get out there and really spread the word at the same time we're doing our work. So I think that we'll continue to do what we're doing and slowly grow into some other program sites. We're looking at maybe going into a new shelter down in Kingston next year, maybe Taunton. So we'll have slow growth as far as program sites so that we can continue to provide the deep services and have the funding to do that.
That's great. Is there anything we didn't ask that you want to say?
Well, I would just say, just since School on Wheels started in 2004, that we've worked with over 100, we've worked with 100 children a week on an average basis, but we've worked with over 1,000 students since we started the program. We have 15 students in college. We've given thousands and thousands of backpacks away. We also provide new books so that kids can start their own personal library. Believe it or not, some kids move into a shelter without any books at all, and when you think about how many you have at home. So I think that, we're really proud of the work that we've done, and we know that we have a long way to go and that the need is great, but we're really honored to be able to do that. And I always say to our volunteers is that each week that we go into our shelters is that we're honored guests going into the shelter to work with these children who are living in temporary homes.
And actually, do you continue to work with the kids once they reach college, or do you just kind of...
Yeah, so when our students go to college, we continue to service them, and we will continue to provide backpack, school supplies. We go in and we meet with their advisors, and that we help them fill out their FAFSA and their financial aid, make sure that that's complete, that they understand their loans and what's subsidized and what's unsubsidized and how much they're going to owe. We actually pay for the kids' dorm supplies. We go shopping with them and pick out their comforter and sheets, and for our unaccompanied youth, we move our students in. This past fall, I moved 3 students in 1 week. I was at Brandeis, Bridgewater State University, and Newberry College. And I wrote a blog about it, actually, that talked about how anything is possible, because these were all students who were homeless who are now moving into dorm rooms. And when you think about it, who's going to move them in if they have no parent or guardian support? So we become their families, and myself and my staff will help move them in.
That's really great.
And so do you tutor with them, or do you just...
I tutor the younger kids because I'm not smart enough to do anything above 4th grade math. Is that when I have to tutor an older student, I always tell them that they're going to be tutoring me because they're much smarter than I am. And they say, well, you're the boss. How can you not know this? I said, well, I'm good at other things. Everybody's got talents. But and that helps them to understand. They love the fact that they can figure out, they know improper fractions and can do problems that I have no idea how to do. So anyway, my passion, because of my degree in early childhood and family life, is the younger kids, and I work with, so I have a regular student that I work with every week, and it helps keep me grounded. I get to see the joy on those kids' faces, and the tutors' faces as well, is that the tutors get just as much out of this as our students do as well. It changes their life as well.
Yeah, you must have such a feeling of fulfillment after
Yeah,
seeing what these children go through.
it really is, and it's hard. I mean, because you want to do more, and so you have your ups and downs, and you go out of there saying, it's the kids that have been in the shelter for, we have one student now who's been in the motel for over a year, and that it's not a healthy environment for them, and that he's witnessing things that he shouldn't be witnessing. And when he's acting out during tutoring, I know that he's role modeling behavior that he's seeing, and it's hard to have that school bus pull up in front of that motel and to watch him get out and to know that, his backyard is that parking lot. That's hard. But yet I see his smile, when he walks into that tutoring room and he sees that tutor. And he said to me, he was just reading this book, and he said, I read a whole chapter, and he's like in 2nd grade. Last year he didn't know how to read, barely. And now he's like reading chapter books. And so, again, it's pretty cool to see our kids continue to get excited about their education and to build their self-esteem.
It's really great.
Wonderful.
Oh, is that it? I personally don't have any questions more.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
I
Thank
feel
you.
so blessed to have you tell
Thank
your
you.
story. Your story is so amazing. It's so
Right.
inspiring to listen
Well,
to.
thank
It's
you.
really-
Well, you too. The future is ahead, right? You guys, you have all these
Sure.
opportunities, and you'll find something that will be your passion, And I did lots of other things in my life before I got to this point in my life, and stuff. But it kind of all laid the groundwork for what I'm doing now. And choose good life partners that will support your decisions as well, because that's huge. My husband, he's really the wind beneath my wings, and my daughter, because she had to share her mom with 100 children a week, and I wasn't around that much. I was late picking her up for things, and so there are sacrifices you have to make, but you want to make sure that you have that strong family support that can kind of help you through that, reach your dreams.
Thank you.
Yes,
So inspiring.
good.